Hey, this is Royce Hall, your host of Coffee Dreamin. I'm a Salesforce consultant by day and podcaster by night. And today I'm joined by John Chandler. John is the co founder of MethodPlan. It is great to have you here today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, give us a quick elevator pitch 30, 60 second. What is MethodPlan? What's that about?
Yeah, Method Plan is a retirement plan advisory overlay or ISV for Salesforce, and we help RIAs and broker dealers and investment advisors run a more efficient retirement plan business.
Right on. So let me ask you the $1 million question. We can't already do that in Salesforce. We can't already do that with Financial Services Cloud.
Oh, this is my favorite question. Thank you. Yeah, Financial Services Cloud it's a great product, and there are so many different lines of business in financial services. Retirement plans is white space in financial services right now. They have wealth management, they have a brokerage product, and insurance product, but no one's ever built retirement plans before. And
Hmm.
we're the first data model in Salesforce for managing retirement plans
Right
that's in the
on.
market. Yeah.
That's cool. So does that connect? We'll just get all of the data out here real quick. We'll just blast that
Yeah.
out first thing. So is that something that you connect to FSC? Is that something you connect to Sales Cloud? Is that something you connect to, I don't know, Education Cloud? Where does it go?
Yeah, great, great question. Thanks. That is, we're compatible with Sales Cloud, or if you choose to use Financial Services Cloud. We're not Financial Services Cloud dependent though, so you could use it on Sales Cloud, but we are Sales Cloud dependent.
Right on.
Yeah,
Well, very good.
not
So,
education. We don't touch education.
oh yeah, I gotta throw it out there, right? So maybe somebody will
Yeah,
ask, "Hey, I work for a university. Does it work with that?" Uh,
right.
right on. So that's great. So you're working with retirement in a way that nobody else on Salesforce has done that. Can you tell me a little bit about how what that journey looked like? Did you just like wake up one day and you're like, you know what? I've worked with financial advisors, and you know what Salesforce really needs. Like, how did that come about?
Yeah. My origin story is I spent 15 years running a retirement plan only um, advisory business. And as part of running that business, we kept asking ourselves, like, why is it so hard?
Mm,
Why is the work so hard? Why does it take us so much time to do things? And we 5, 6 years ago went out and looked for a solution, and there's nothing in the market. And then we started to try and build, and it was hard at first to figure out how to build out a Salesforce org for ourselves. And we documented every process in managing a retirement plan advisory business, and it cut our overhead by about 30%.
oh
And
wow.
so there's a significant amount of M&A in wealth management and retirement right now. And we saw the opportunity to um, sell the advisory business. And then I took all of the IP related to the CRM solution and created Method Plan.
Yeah. So why Salesforce? Was that just like something that you're using, or like why not?
Yeah.
You think of HubSpot or Zoho or any of those other solutions that are out there.
Yeah. Salesforce is really the dominant CRM in the space. There are wealth specific solutions out there which are perfectly fine for businesses that are wealth only and typically smaller. But if you think about these larger aggregators and larger businesses that are doing wealth management, employee benefits, retirement plans, life insurance, PNC, Salesforce has the majority of the market share. And we wanted to build where our customers are. And so that's where we chose Salesforce. Salesforce is where the data is. And in the retirement plan space specifically, people are using siloed solutions that are hard to integrate. And so we chose Salesforce. And part of that was also being on Salesforce for years and having familiarity with it. But there was no question of like, do we build on Salesforce or do we build standalone? It was clear to us that we were going to build on Salesforce.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's fascinating to me about Method Plan, it's obviously kind of one of one at the moment, but can beyond that, leveraging kind of state of the art technology. So, like in the Salesforce world, there's this big push for agents, and I think that's
Yeah.
something that was very interesting to me about MethodPlan was you have built in that agentic action. I'd love to hear more about that. What's what's unique about that versus like there's so much out there right now. Like we were just talking a little bit ago about like okay, here's an agent that summarizes a meeting. It's like, well, okay, like that agent does that, but wasn't Gong able to do that like 5 years ago? Like
Right.
what's new and fresh? Like what's the special sauce there?
Yeah. The special sauce is really high quality structured data. A meeting summary tool, which is very valuable in adds efficiency to an advisor's day, is relying on the data from that meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason we're not seeing more productivity focused solutions on Agentforce is low quality data, right?
Mm.
Like, can the agents interact with the data that's in Salesforce in a meaningful way to help them have a you know easier, make their work easier? And that's the benefit of MethodPlan, is that we are structuring data, we're versioning data so that you have the ability to use AI. Right now, our first agent is summarizing what it is that has gone on with the plan. So you can ask Agentforce questions about the clients that you have that are in Salesforce. A big thing that plan advisors want to do in our meetings with clients is say, what have we done for you?
Mm.
To show our value. And if you're using MethodPlan and you're using our MethodPlan agent, Agentforce agent, you can ask Salesforce Agentforce, hey, what have we done for this client this year? Right? And that's the first of many AI opportunities that I see for MethodPlan. But the high quality structured data is the foundation, and that's what most people are missing.
Yeah. So what are you doing to help? I see that like across Salesforce as a whole is like in every industry. It's like is our data even ready for AI? And I think in some
Right.
ways like the AI can help you structure that data and get to it a little bit faster. But like like we have to have good data to begin with, or we're just going to get trash results, right? So, how are you helping structure that data?
We help structure that data because we've established a process for running a book of retirement plan business, and that really starts you know at the opportunity phase of how do we onboard a client, how do we define who a client is, and then once they become a client, how do we manage them within Salesforce? So what needs to be related to our custom plan object, and how do you version it? So everything in our system is time based. So you can have a retirement plan that is past without erasing data,
Hmm.
current, and then you can start to do work on a future plan. And by versioning that, which is surprisingly not something that's commonly done because it's complicated, um, that gives us that ability to start to use agents and also connect outside data. And
Yeah,
so we version things like plan design, agreements, fees associated to agreements, when the reviews happen, when an RFP needs to be done, things
yeah,
like that. And also what investments are associated to that retirement plan. And that's the tricky part. People are overwriting, and most people are overwriting in their CRMs right now.
oh yeah, definitely. Well, and that's really interesting. Like that just makes that I think that agent play that much more powerful because you have historical information. So not just what have we done this year, but like how has the client changed over the past 5 years. Like you can really do some really deep analysis, and that's huge time saving. Like I think I told you earlier that my sister, she's a paralegal, and it's like okay, like we've got these years of records to pull through,
Yeah.
and as a human, like that takes a long time just to read it all and get the
Yeah.
mental model, and to be able to automate that is super powerful. That's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of hard work, but also fun.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could tell me a little bit about that hard work part. Like, what are a few things that you've kind of picked up along the way, kind of as a founder? Like, what has helped make you successful here?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that has helped us along the way is asking, like, why do we do things a certain way? Having worked in that advisory business gave me the perspective, and along with my co-founder, that we needed to be able to build this and really pick apart the process to say, why are we doing this, and what are the downstream implications of putting data into the system here versus here, and just going into great detail, mapping every step of the process and every data point along the way. We were meticulous in going through our build, and this is not the first. Our current version is not the first version after many challenging false starts in the beginning. So it was being meticulous and being persistent, and you know and how we approached it, and then also understanding the market. We As we were building, we talked to our peers. We spent a lot of time seeing what they were doing, making sure that we were solving the problems that they had. We weren't just solving problems that we thought existed. We were solving problems that we knew existed because we experienced them, and then we validated that by talking to the folks in our industry that are also doing the work. And that was probably one of the most important things we could have done along the way.
Yeah. Well, and that's an interesting motion as well. You're talking to your peers who are also like I guess at some level your competitor, but you're also making a product that's going to help them. So that's an interesting I don't know road to walk there. Like okay, we're competitors in some way, but tell me what tell me your
Oh,
secret sauce so we can make it ours too.
I never really thought about it as being competitors, in that, you know, when I was still an advisor, I had study groups with my peers in my market, and I'm still friends with them today.
Okay.
The plan business is unique in that there's some of us that specialized in it, and then people that have just a few.
Hmm.
And there was never that sense of there's not enough business, that we needed to not have a good collaborative relationship and work together. So, and people were comfortable sharing, and so was I, and I think we all got better for it. So
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's uh, yeah. I think of I'm in the Salesforce ecosystem. We're both in the Salesforce ecosystem.
yeah,
I just think of like the Salesforce Ohana, and like it's a similar sort of thing where it's like we work at different companies, but like I've got a question. Like I don't know how to make this edit to whatever. Can somebody educate me on that? And it's the same sort of thing. Where it's like, look, there's a whole bunch of people out there that need help on the Salesforce platform, and no reason why we can't help one another.
right, yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned like there was a number of hurdles, kind of failures that you had to work through. Like, what are I guess some key things that you learned from those failures? I think yes, often our failures that teach us more than our successes, right?
Yes, absolutely. It, one of the challenges, or one of the ways that you can find failure, is thinking too much about the end state and not about how you get there, and
Hmm.
rushing to try and get to the end without focusing on, like, what is needed to really go through that. And so an example of this is our first attempt at agreement creation. We said, well, wouldn't it be cool if we could just populate forms, right? And those forms would, save time. So we found one step of a process and said, oh yeah, this is great. But what we didn't think about was versioning,
Hmm.
right? We didn't have a foundational data set to say, well, who is an active customer that this needs to be assigned to? And as we started to figure out why that first attempt didn't work, we realized the complexity and the depth that was needed. So I think starting from the beginning of a process, and understanding your business and the process associated to the business is the key to success in building on Salesforce, and having that deep understanding of what work do you do, and then building around that, as opposed to thinking, I want this flashy report at the end, just make it
Right.
without a plan. So I see a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I was going to do that in the very beginning, but quickly learned that that was not going to lead to success.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point as well. Like I think there's this this idea in the Salesforce world, like it is very user friendly, like the no code
Yeah.
platform, like your business user can make things happen, and here's the report. And I think we can often shortcut the difficulty there of like, oh no, like Salesforce is like it's just easy to go make a automation, make a flow, make a report. And it's like there's I think doing it once is like okay, like we have one, like that's not too hard. But once you start having like 5, 10, you're like okay, like they're overlapping each other, and I don't have the data points that I need. Like it becomes a lot more. You have to get your ducks in a row, and that's how I often get called in. Is like we tried to build, and now we have spaghetti. Like, can you help me sort this out? So I understand that, but at the same time, like I've got my little robotic stuff. This is like a prop from my kids' Lego Robotics League. I love it. And I often tell them, like, they get frustrated where it's like, I built this thing and it didn't work. And it's like, no, that's fine. That's great. Like, make it better. Like, that's just how it goes, right? Like, you try, that you have a little bit of success. You didn't get the success that you wanted, but you have to stick with it and keep iterating, keep giving yourself, mercy. I think, like, okay,
Yeah.
like I messed up, but I learned, and now I'm better. And like, I would not be strong if I didn't start out weak and make iterative improvements along the way. So I feel like we all have to learn that same lesson of like, yeah,
Yeah.
you try, and because you tried, you can learn a lesson of what not to do, and iterate to become better and stronger.
Yeah. It's ducks in a row is the origin of our logo.
Oh, really?
That's even though it looks like a swan, that's how the rows got in there. It's we think about getting your data ducks in a row,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
that's how we went off of that as the logo evolved. So
Nice.
that's funny.
Well, hold up that coffee mug to the screen so everybody can see that. There you
Too
go.
much glare.
Oh man. There we
Oh, I
go.
have
I think
glare.
that's good right there. We can see it really well. Yeah. There you go.
Um, you know what method plan does though, is saves our customers the time and the risk associated with trying to self build and go through that process. The approach that we've taken to development has been that we identified the standard process that every RIA, broker dealer, anyone managing a corporate retirement plan uses in their business, and when it we stopped when it stopped being what we all do as advisors, because every business is different,
Mm-hmm.
but there's that core process that we all do as advisors, and that's what we've built. And so at implementation and configuration, you have the ability to put your own unique business process on top of that solid foundation, so you don't have to go through years worth of trying to get it right. And for a large RIA, you think of with 1,000 users, there's a significant cost. A self build is north of $1 million. Like it's likely to be multiple seven figures. So we're saving people the time and risk of trying to self build
Mm.
just to get to that foundational data set for their business.
Yeah. Well, that's a great pitch. I have like all of my business books back here. Gap selling. I love that. That's like the classic gap sell. Like you could, you
Is it?
know, it's sure I'm asking for this much money for the licenses, but you could pay multiple seven figures and do it yourself.
Yeah, there are plenty of examples, and
Yeah.
I've also read stats on like how most CRM implementations fail,
Hmm.
and it's easier if you use a proven solution.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely, and especially with you all being kind of the first of your kind, like there's not a framework for other people to follow. So it really is like okay, you're going to go through the same struggles and iterations that you've been through for 15 years, and
yeah.
that's a great tool, mature tool to put out there. That's real awesome. So, John, somebody's listening to this and said, "Man, that's the exact product that I'm looking for." How do they find you?
Yeah, methodplan.com or in the Salesforce App Exchange.
Very good. Well, John, it's been great talking to you today. I really appreciate you joining the show, and hopefully somebody's listening to this and reaches out to you, and you can help them get their org structured and ready for doing their investment business.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the conversation.